Hey guys, welcome back to M2 Paradise. So in today's video, we're going to be replacing the turbo resonator for my Lexus IS 200 turbo. This is pretty much for any modern Lexus with a 2-liter turbo engine. There's going to be like a whole list of them down in the description down below. For mine, I have a 2017 IS 200. The year after, I think like 2018 to like 2021, they're the IS 300. But this resonator is from HPS. There's going to be a link in the description down below so you guys can go pick this up. It's actually on Amazon, so you can have it pretty quick. So definitely go down in the description down below, pick this up. It should help a lot with turbo lag, and it might actually enhance the sound a little bit too, as well as like adding an intake. But let's go ahead and get started. All right, so one of the first things we're going to do is we're actually going to take off the engine cover. In order to do this, you're just going to grab it and lift up. Yours does look a lot different than mine. Mine is a custom carbon fiber one, so it does look a bit different. And then we're going to go ahead and pop off these two hoses right here. There's going to be these like little clamps, so I use different kind of pliers. We're just going to grab that and wiggle that right off. And it does help if you go ahead and pop this off right here. There's a little tab you can just lift up. It slides up, and then you can just kind of turn this and move it out of the way. And then you can kind of get to this one a lot better. And then I'm going to go ahead and grab this one down here, do the same thing. All right, so this one's actually on there like really snug. So let me just kind of work it. All right, so mine is actually being extremely stubborn and I'm not able to get it off. So I'm just going to try to work around it. But next we're going to pop this hose just kind of out of this little clamp back here. Just going to kind of move it up out of the way. So next we're going to have a few 12mm bolts. There's going to be one right back here on this metal heat shield. There's going to be another one right here. There's a 10mm, and then we're going to pull out the 12mm right below that. There's going to be another one right here, and then there's going to be a 10mm right underneath, kind of like these hoses, like right here. So I'm going to have to kind of like wiggle these a little out of place, and then we'll be able to like kind of like reach right down in there and pull that one out. And I will say you do want to do this when the engine is nice and cool, because you're going to be touching right around where the turbo is, and the turbo gets really hot. So you definitely want to wait and make sure that your engine's nice and cool before you do this job. All right, so now we're going to try to go down in there and get out that 10mm, which is kind of located right kind of underneath between around all these. There we go. And once you do that, you're going to go ahead and grab this heat shielding, and we're just going to just kind of wiggle it out of place. That's where removing this does come in handy, because it is a little snug under here. So I'm just going to move these other things out of the way a little bit. And there we go. Now I got that heat shielding off. So now right here you can definitely see where like the original turbo muffler is, or turbo resonator. It's this black cylinder. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to remove, there's these two hose clamps. We're going to remove the one on the left. It does have a 10mm on there, so I'm just going to go ahead and loosen that up quite a bit. There we go. Just going to slide it back out of the way. All right, so this next part is kind of tricky showing you on camera, but we're going to remove this metal piece right here, which you can see one 12mm screw right there, and then the other one is kind of like right through there, just right on the other side. So I'm going to go ahead and set the camera down and pull that out, and once we pull that out, that's where loosening this up comes in play, because that's just going to pop out all as like one big unit. So let's go ahead and take out those two screws right there and pull that out. All right, so now that we got those two nuts off, we're going to go ahead and pull out that whole unit. So I'm actually going to remove the other hose clamp because it's getting kind of stuck as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and loosen that one up quite a bit, and then I might be able just to pop that whole thing off as well, just to make it a little bit easier. Once again, this is where pulling this hose off would be very handy. And to make sure you don't drop the hose clamps, but there we go. Now that is off. So now we're gonna go ahead and remove these 3 screws, releasing the turbo resonator. All right, so I'm just gonna go ahead and remove those 3 bolts. And you wanna make sure you check the orientation. So it's gonna come up like this, and then whenever you put the new one on, you're gonna have the HPS logo kind of facing forward. So now we have these 2 pieces removed. We're gonna actually pull out the rubber washer from the original piece, and we're immediately going to transfer that into the new one. And that's just gonna sit right down in there just like that. So now whenever you look into this, you can kind of see there's some chambers and stuff in there. There's some places that will pretty much like block the air, like can like change it a little bit. Whereas the new one is just smooth and slick, so that air is going to be able just to flow right through that with no resistance, or at least very little resistance. And we're going to go ahead and have it oriented just like this. And we're going to have that HPE logo or HPS logo right there. I'm just going to go ahead and put in all 3 screws by hand and just kind of make them a little loose. And then I'm going to go through and tighten them after I get all 3 in place. All right, so now that we have that in place, all right, so what I'm gonna go ahead and do is pop this off of here, and then we're just going to kind of squeeze it right onto the new one. And then now we're gonna go ahead and put this back into the car. So I'm gonna go ahead and take the hose clamp and just kind of get it right back into place. And then I might actually go ahead and tighten that ahead of time. I'm not gonna make it too tight just yet. And we're going to kind of get it back in place. I'm just going to turn that and slide it right down and in there. And just like that, we're good to go. Now we're just going to go ahead and take those 12mm nuts, and we're just going to go ahead and pop those back on. Just be very careful not to drop anything down in here, because that's one of the last things you ever want to do. There we go, and then just go ahead and tighten those down. And now we're just going to go ahead and switch back to the 10mm. We're going to get this other hose clamp situated back into position. I'm going to turn it to where everything's right back up on top, so it's a lot easier to get to. There we go. I'm just going to go ahead and tighten down this other one. And now we're going to go ahead and get that heat shielding put back in here. So it's just going to wiggle back into place, kind of however you got it out. Same process, just in reverse. There we go. I'm going to start with the 12mm bolts that went down in here. And I'm just going to get them in there kind of loose, and I'm going to go in and tighten them at the end. And then we're going to finish it up with that one little 10mm bolt that was kind of really hard to get to. And I'm going to go through and tighten everything back down. There we go. Now we're just going to go ahead and clip all the hoses back into place. So we're going to take this one. I'm actually going to get it put right back onto here. There we go. That was easy. Just slid right on. I'm going to clip in the corner of it right there. And then this hose is going to pop right back into there. And just like that, the turbo resonator is installed. And then you can go ahead and take your engine cover and put it right back into place. It just pops right on. All right, so you can see the turbo resonator right there, which looks really good in here, especially with like that shiny silver and everything. And it does look pretty subtle as well. So compared to the old one where it's like this big giant black piece of plastic that there's just like a lot to it, Now it's a lot more simple and it looks nice and sleek, and it definitely should help with something like that turbo response. So you can have maybe like less turbo lag and stuff like that. I'm not sure if it's going to make a huge difference or not, but I'm sure it might make some difference at least. But if this video helped you guys out, definitely go down and hit that like button down below. Also hit that subscribe button if you want to see more videos, especially with the Lexus. I also have some other modifications coming too, and this video is going to be in a playlist of a whole bunch of other Lexus how-to videos, so definitely go check out all those videos. There's going to be links in the description down below so you guys can pick up the turbo resonator as well as like all the tools I use. You can see all the camera equipment I use, and I'm going to have a lot of other parts for the Lexus IS, so definitely go check out in the description down below all those links. You can pick up pretty much almost anything on Amazon. But if this video helped you guys out, definitely hit that like button. Let me know in the comments down below. But like, subscribe, and as always, thank you for watching.